Hello and welcome to The Worst Movie Ever Made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind, to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci. No Bob Hassick. Hey, Rob, how are you and why are we doing this?
I'm great. Speaking to your point, Bob did write into us before the show.
Yeah, we got to find out what's going on with him.
He couldn't make it, so here's the subject line is letter from Bob explaining his absence, which is weird because he's referring to himself in the third person, so I don't get that. All right, anywho. Hey guys, it's Bob. Sorry I couldn't make it to the show. It's just, golly gee willikers, I just love Quentin so much. Parentheses, we're on a first name basis. But I didn't want to embarrass myself gushing and guffawing at not only the cinematic masterpiece that is Pulp Fiction, but his entire catalog as a whole. My personal favorite Tarantino movie is Kill Bill. No, wait, it's The Crazy Eight. No, wait. If I really had to pinpoint exactly where my consciousness ends and Quentin's begins, it's got to be that movie with Leo, with whom I also am on a first name basis with, in which he so furiously says that word that I love saying so much to you guys off air whenever I get the chance. You know, that word. You know the one. Saddle. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoy recording the episode. If you need me, I'll be stuck in traffic somewhere. Hopefully I don't get cut off by one of those fucking saddles. Weird.
Holy shit.
Right, well, that's from Bob.
Okay, well,
I'm about that saddle thing, but
no, I don't know. I'm almost glad he's not here. I don't want to know what he means. But this week, as he mentioned in his email to us, the viewing audience, the listening audience over there on our podcast and YouTube, we are doing 94's Pulp Fiction, a Quentin Tarantino classic. He's my favorite director, I'm pretty sure. And in Pulp Fiction, you have John Travolta, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Harvey Keitel. It's just a murderer's row.
Christopher Walken, Ving Rhames,
cast. It's and what they are doing is telling a classic American crime story. And usually we explain the entire movie. If you haven't seen it, then what are you doing with your life? Go watch it and then listen to this again. Finish it now and then listen to it again after you see Pulp Fiction. It's Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta, Uma Thurman doing the lead, and then everyone that Rob mentioned as supporting characters. We'll get into what happens in the story. Let's just say there's a mob boss and a bunch of people doing crazy crime bullshit and told only the way that Quentin Tarantino can do it. Why don't we first take a taste on YouTube?
Sure. So, it's not as entertaining when people actually like the movie and it's also good. True. So I'm just gonna breeze through 5 comments. They're all pretty much just expressing their love of the movie. So I love this movie. Great acting, dialogue, directing, editing, lighting, etc. And the way the timeline is out of order is just brilliant. So many quotable lines for all of us to use in everyday life. Big Mac. Next comment. One of the few things that Vincent says that I agree with is the foot massage thing. I just love this movie so much. Every time I rewatch it, I find a new detail I've been missing all this time. Next comment. This is a masterpiece. Tarantino was a genius. All the best actors. Next comment. It's a great movie to just sit back and watch and be entertained. Don't worry about plot or chronologic events. I watch it often. I kind of disagree with that because just because it's non-linear doesn't mean like it doesn't bear any significance or whatever. And then the last one. I really, really, really love Butch's character. He's the closest thing to a, quote, good guy, unquote, that this movie has to offer. And that's pretty even keel. I can agree with most of that.
We don't normally agree with the YouTube commenters. So that'll be interesting then for our first test, the best of its kind. What your guess is going to be once we review all of the other movies that this one is most like. Let's take it
Yeah.
away. Test number one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me being a dum dum. Test number one, the best of its kind. All right. The Matrix, Keanu Reeves, another one of my favorites. It's not the most A+ movie out there. I understand it has its flaws, but I do love that you cannot disprove the crazy concept of the movie. You know that.
It's funny too.
Me.
The movie came before like the philosophical argument, like the main argument that proposes the simulation theory came out in 2003. So 3 years after the Matrix. Yeah.
So somebody saw it and was like, I have the means to write a paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. An 83 there, 7 with Pitt and Freeman. Another good movie, another one with some flaws. It's also got Kevin Spacey, who's since been canceled. So I thought maybe I wouldn't even mention him, but he was acquitted recently. I don't know if you saw that. That doesn't mean he didn't do anything wrong. He just isn't going to prison or anything.
Yeah.
83 there. Shutter Island with the aforementioned Leonardo DiCaprio. Not as good. Yeah, a 69.
Okay.
Scarface with Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer. Only a 79. I understand that is another flawed classic, but it is one of my favorite movies. Don't ask me why.
Can I tell you something real quick?
Yeah.
Never seen Scarface.
Ouch. I don't know, man. It's just so much fun. But maybe it's...
MTV Cribs. Everybody had the Scarface poster, and I was like, I'm just not going to watch it on principle, and I probably should.
You should. You should know why there's a craze about it. But it's 79 there. Fight Club with Ed Norton and Helena Bonham Carter. I already mentioned the other star in that one, so I'll give her some shine because I think she's like weird hot.
Yeah.
You know? A 79. Okay. So an average of an astounding 78.6.
Okay.
Based on your mental health check on YouTube, what do you think Pulp Fiction came in with this week?
I should know this, but I always try to avoid like the Rotten Tomato logo when I search stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say like a 95 or something.
Very good. A 92.
Okay.
Just about. I think a 95 would have been deserving. 100. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
A plus 13.4 and best of its kind. One of my favorite movies. Makes perfect sense. I'm not going to jot that down because there's no sense in doing that. We don't compare good movies. So let's throw it to test number 2. One limerick short this week because somebody decided not to show up. This is Ain't That a Pitch?
Yeah.
Test number 2.
Oh, hi, Mark. This is the beginning of a scene. We talk about the movie, make the movie about the movie. In this case, The Room.
Ain't that a bitch?
You want to go? You want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay, go for it.
Uma, Samuel, John, and Bruce, all in their primes and letting loose. Great directing, too. Travolta, this one's for you. Too bad Vince got killed while dropping a deuce.
Okay, you're gonna win because mine's really stupid. All right. There once was a movie by Quentin about a briefcase, cocaine, and some heroin. Jules has a near-death experience. Vincent can't believe that he's hearing him. Ving Rhames gets sodomized in the ass.
I don't know. That was pretty good, Rob. Who are you voting for since there's no tiebreak?
I know. I feel bad without Bob here, but because he's making the ultimate sacrifice. He's seeing Greg Sestero right now, Mark from The Room.
Yes,
do like a Q&A right now.
So, he is.
He is hopefully farming some content, but I think I'm going to vote for you, Chris, just because not only was it concise, it had quite a bit of bravado to it.
It had bravado.
That kind of thought process, that kind of bravado actually helped the movie get made.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, normally I would do the team win thing here, but normally I wouldn't. So I'm going to pick me too. And we both said 5 stars, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So test number 3, what works well?
What works well? Let's see. Pulp Fiction, good bumpers. What works well? There we go.
Ooh. Test number 3, what works well? I'm interested to watch. Yeah, me too. I'm interested to what you see what you think about what I said here. But number one, everything but Fabian, which
Yeah.
which was Butch's girlfriend, fiance, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't think that she like aged well. I mean, she's her character works just fine, but a little bit too much importance laid on her feet. Quentin Tarantino put
Yeah. Yeah, he's into that. We've heard.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But everything is the important statement there. This movie is just nearly perfect. Super satisfying soundtrack at number 2.
Yeah, Dick Dale and the Deltones. I like that.
Man, I just love the songs that he chooses because they give you like a back alley billiard bar kind of feel.
Yeah.
And I like that. Number 3, John and Jackson are just jamming together.
Yeah.
The chemistry between Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta here, I think, is some of the best on screen I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's well rehearsed. Like it's like not method acting, but like I feel like they hung out a lot before filming this, so they could just have that natural rapport, that natural back and forth. That like it's hard to force. You can't really. It's really hard to force that kind of dialogue.
I feel like it's a perfect like mix of they respect each other, but they both have what's the word I'm looking for?
Idiosyncrasies. Like they're both playing it straight, but they're both
I feel like
also
like a confidence, like a there's like a
I think it was just I had the bravado.
bravado.
Yeah, bravado. Number 4, the collective cast. Not just those two. Who didn't you like? I'll tell you in the catch-all, a little foreshadowing. There were 2 people that I thought didn't act very well in this movie, but otherwise, everybody else is just killing it.
Yeah.
Number 5, discouraging and discomforting drug scenes. And why does that work? Well, because you shouldn't want to do heroin, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Quentin Tarantino was part of the reason why I never tried anything too heavy,
Yeah, he's seemed. Here's the thing: everybody has their opinion. They have hard opinions about Tarantino. Not Bob though, because he loves him. But
yeah, fair.
He was pretty coke-addled, I would say, at some point in his career. But it's hard to tell because he's just also overtly enthusiastic about everything. So he might just be like naturally like that as well.
I know he'd be.
Yeah, I know he did do a lot of blow, but like he's also like. Even today, he's still like the same, like like nerd. He's
like
fucking nerd.
Leaning into the crowd when he's speaking.
Yeah,
Number 6, car crash carnage. I feel like a lot of the time, accidents that happen in movies don't look or feel very real. Like if Jean-Claude Van Damme were to get in a car accident, he just would like get out and run away. But
he would just like wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth and like spit and be fine in the next scene.
Yeah. But I mean, Ving Rhames and Bruce Willis do a good job depicting what a car accident would actually look like, I think, because they're both pretty brutalized afterwards. And I feel like
the pathetic chase afterwards where they're both just like dragging themselves on the sidewalk.
It's awesome. It's really cool. It shouldn't be, but it is cool. I've got a few more. 7. Vince does not declare the divine and almost directly dies. So this is one of the underpinnings of the movie that you may not catch, but Jules believes that he is saved by God.
Yeah.
When the Seinfeld-looking dude with the hand cannon in the bathroom comes out shooting at them after Jules, Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta, Vince kill all of his friends. This guy jumps out of the bathroom and shoots at them. Should have hit them. Doesn't hit them.
It was like straight up like the Bugs Bunny, like the bullets around them, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Jules is sure that was work of the divine, and John Travolta's Vince does not believe so. Which one of them survives? You find out Vince ends up dying not long after. Whether that Tarantino wouldn't tell you whether or not that was caused by the belief, the faith, whatever. He wouldn't tell you, but I like that ambiguity. You should know. Number 8, realism. And I know I don't need a whole lot more than that. for the title, I'm just going to say I often wonder when I'm watching a movie whether the story being told is one worth telling, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like what's funny about Napoleon Dynamite is it's really not.
Yeah.
But most movies are convincing you that it is. Napoleon Dynamite, it's like this isn't worth telling, and that's part of the humor.
Yeah.
But most movies are like, we're going to take a look at these incredible events as they happen, and they don't. You have to suspend your disbelief a lot, and they don't seem realistic. This is the kind of story that you would want to focus on. That seems realistic, and it's a great blend of both.
Yeah, it's been heralded. Pulp Fiction's been heralded as like a postmodern masterpiece, but also it's like it's got the surrealism. Like it's got the surrealism of like a Simpsons episode.
Yeah, it does.
Like where it's just like this is rooted in reality, but like you're slightly like, if you were watching it, it's like when you play a first person shooter, you just see the gun in front of you.
Sure.
I feel like you're like slightly behind the person holding the gun instead. Like you're in it, but you're slightly removed.
Yeah, I like that way of looking at it. I feel like it's amplified in dialogue, but the way that legends are made in the history of humankind is to amplify the actual events.
Yeah,
and it seems like the longer time passes, the more amplification that happens. The more we build up the story, and the 5,000 men who defended Point become 100 men that defended the Point. Yeah. It feels like it's somewhere along the spectrum, but pretty close to the actual events that didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just really fun. And number 9, the last one that I have before I ask you if you want to mention anything that works really well in this movie, is a clip. And I'm just going to say Samuel L. Jackson for me is the star in this movie. My personal star. So this is called Jules.
This is a tasty burger. Vincent, you ever had a big kahuna burger? Want a bite? They're real tasty. Ain't hungry. Well, if you like burgers, give them a try sometime. Me? I can't usually get them because my girlfriend's a vegetarian, which pretty much makes me a vegetarian. But I do love the taste of a good burger. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France? No. Tell them, Vincent.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. You know why they call it that?
Because of the metric system?
Check out the big brain on bread. You're a smart motherfucker, that's right. The metric system. Then it's
Sprite.
Sprite, good. You mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down?
Go right ahead.
That hit the spot.
It's the stare.
Yeah.
He's drinking the Sprite. He's like...
So what he's doing is he's like muscling these kids that were supposed to do a job right for Marcellus Wallace, and they don't. They fuck it up somehow. You don't really know how. But Jules and Vince are the two muscle guys. And maybe they're not super muscly, but they've got guns and they know how to use them. Is the idea. And Jules is intimidating these men in the most fun way possible. And it's great writing by Tarantino, I will just say. I know Bob would have interjected there and said the same thing. But the dialogue is Quentin Tarantino's. And his is like, you know how Kevin Smith writes realistic dialogue, but it's obviously pumped up, and you can tell whenever Kevin Smith is writing. I feel like Tarantino is just a bit better than that. You can kind of tell it's a Quentin Tarantino movie, but each character has their own flavor. They don't necessarily sound like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, and then just to piggyback off the clip, because it kind of goes into what I was saying earlier about how it seems like they hung out a lot before doing this movie, or they're either just like friends or whatever.
Sure.
But just the passing, not even like the significant dialogue, the passing dialogue when they're opening the trunk, going up to the building. They're like, oh, we should have brought a shotgun for this one, like indicating they've done this. They've done this several times before, and like it's just like by the numbers for them.
I do love that. It does seem like they've been on a bunch of journeys together, and that's just a nod at the good writing. Sorry if I seem distracted there. My son was crying, but it looks like he's calmed down.
Oh, good.
Do you want to mention anything for what works well for you in this movie?
Honestly, the non-linear aspect, I know that's like probably been talked about ad nauseum on other podcasts and shit, but it's really easy to fuck up, really hard to do well. It's very rarely done well, and I honestly, it's like one of the things you could watch it and like if you're just laying back and watching it, you could understand the sequence of events because like clearly Travolta gets gunned down after taking shit.
Yes.
In Butch's apartment, so it's like you clearly know that like he took Uma Thurman on a date before that. Like, so you can piece it together, but like I had to Google the actual timeline and be like, okay, this is the exact scene by it's 7 short films. So it's and I would think actually like to watch it in order, yeah.
Yeah, right. That'd be fun. But I think you see Vince and Jules in like street clothes before you see Vince get gunned down in the same suit that he wears when he's on the job.
Yeah.
So it's an odd like jumbled effect, but if you are paying attention, they spell out for you how that all happens, Yeah. So it's just cool to see them mixing paints like that, them being him, I guess. Yeah. Let's throw it to the best dialogue, which is test number 4.
Yeah.
Test number 4, the best dialogue.
Yeah.
Starting with number.
Are we doing? Is it 5 on this one? Is it 5 on this one?
I do have 5, yeah.
All right, cool. 5.
This is Winston.
We need to camouflage the interior of the car. We're going to line the front seat and the back seat and the floorboards with quilts and blankets. So if a cop stops us and starts sticking his big snout in the car, the subterfuge won't last. But at a glance, the car will appear to be normal. Jimmy, lead the way. Boys, get to work.
Please would be nice.
Come again?
I said a please would be nice.
Get it straight, Buster. I'm not here to say please. I'm here to tell you what to do. And if self-preservation is an instinct you possess, you better fucking do it and do it quick. I'm here to help. If my help's not appreciated, lots of luck, gentlemen.
No, Mr. Wolf. It ain't like that. Your help is definitely appreciated.
Mr. Wolf, listen. I don't mean disrespect, okay? I respect you. I just don't like people barking orders at me, that's all.
If I'm curt with you, it's because time is a factor. I think fast, I talk fast, and I need you guys to act fast if you want to get out of this. So, pretty please, with sugar on top, clean the fucking car.
This came out 2 years before Michael.
God, can you imagine? That is wild and disappointing. And man, Travolta was so good here. Yeah. Harvey Keitel was also amazing, delivering that dialogue without missing a beat. It's tough because he thinks fast, he talks fast. That's got to be a hard thing to do as an actor. But delivering that dialogue is well worth it, worth all the effort, I'm sure. Number
4 yard.
This is Zed.
Let me tell you what now. I'm gonna call a couple of hard pipe-hitting niggas to go to work on the homes here with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch. You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? I ain't through with you by a damn sight. I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
I mean, what now between me and you?
Oh, that what now? I tell you what now between me and you. There is no me in you. Not no more.
Are we cool?
Yeah, we cool. 2 things. Don't tell nobody about this. This shit is between me, you, and Mr. Soon to be living the rest of his short-ass life in agonizing pain, rapist here. It ain't nobody else's business. 2, you leave town tonight, right now. And when you're gone, you stay gone. Or you be gone. You lost all your LA privileges. Deal?
Yeah.
Get your ass out of here.
Yeah.
He just is so cool in this movie, and he was just raped. Like
He's so fucking badass. And like, you know what? It's in a lot of the bad movies we do, we talk about the soliloquy and how it's like ham-fisted, especially in the third act.
Yes. Third act.
And
yes.
in this case, it's just like it's the silence between what he's saying that carries it, because he is not parsing his words at all.
No, he's not. I mean, he's telling the guy that just raped him and Butch that he's going to kill that guy very calmly, standing there with a gun, having just been raped. He tells Butch that he lost his LA privileges, which I thought was just a cool, like, short line. Yeah. That he's going to call a couple of his hard pipe hitting friends. Yeah. Which I don't know if that means crack pipe or like they're going to use pipes to hit this guy. I assume the drug kind. Yeah. But and then there is no me and you stay gone or you be gone line. All of it is just it's just cool. And that's what I mean. Like, that doesn't sound necessarily like Tarantino. It sounds like Marcellus Wallace.
It sounds like the lexicon of the characters and the world they're living in. It doesn't sound like something like a Seth Rogen or a Kevin Smith, who like also pride themselves in their dialogue in their own weird ways. It sounds like it's coming from the world that spawned the story. It's not the author's insight pushed into the characters.
Couldn't agree more. Let's throw it now to number 3. Marvin.
I mean, that's it for me. From here on in, you can consider my ass retired.
Jesus Christ.
Don't blaspheme.
God damn it.
I said don't do that.
Hey, you're fucking freaking out on us.
Look, I'm telling Marcellus today. I'm through.
Well, why don't you tell him at the same time why?
Don't worry, I will.
Yeah, and I bet you $10,000 he laughs his ass off.
I don't give a damn if he does.
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped? Oh,
what the fuck's happening? Oh,
man,
shit, man.
Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Why the fuck you do that?
Well, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
Oh, man, I seen some crazy-ass shit in my time, but this...
Chill out, man. I told you it was an accident. You went over a bump or something.
Hey, the car ain't hit no motherfucking bump.
Hey, look, man, I didn't mean to shoot the son of a bitch. The gun went off. I don't know why.
Well, look at this fucking mess, man. We're on a city street in broad daylight here.
Believe it, man.
Well, believe it now, motherfucker. We gotta get this car off the road. Cops tend to know this shit like you're driving a car against this fucking blood.
Just take it to a friendly place, that's all.
This is the valley, Vincent. Marcellus ain't got no friendly places in the valley.
Well, you my fucking town, man. Shit.
They're gonna take him to that saddle storage place that we hear about later.
Yes. Jesus. I just love how casual the shot to the face is. I mean, they freak out some, but it comes out of absolutely nowhere. You're not expecting that.
Yeah. So, core memory. This is one of those things, like, my parents, like, we had basic cable. My parents had a couple movie channels, and we were like sitting in the family room. And we were watching this when it came out, so I was like, 5 or 6 years old. It was 95, so I was like, I was like 7 years old. And we were watching it. We were watching this scene. Like, the rest of the stuff is pretty tame, believe it or not, except for like the rape scene. Like, it's not gratuitously violent. It swears a lot, but like R-rated movie, whatever. Yeah. And I was watching this with my parents, and this scene specifically, we're watching it, and Travolta turns around, he does that, and that the blood just flies up. My parents were like, "Go upstairs," and they're like, "Good night, go upstairs." I was like, "Okay."
Jesus.
And I was like, "Okay, whatever. I guess we'll find out what happens later." But
it is shocking. It is definitely shocking. You have no idea that's coming. Let's move on to number 2. This is Butch.
This watch was on your daddy's wrist when he was shot down over at Hanoi. He was captured, put in a Vietnamese prison camp. He knew that if the gooks ever saw the watch, it'd be confiscated, taken away. The way your dad looked at it, this watch was your birthright. You'd be damned if any slope's gonna put the greasy yellow hands on his boy's birthright. So he hid it In one place he knew he could hide something, his ass.
Marie Callender's.
5 long years he wore this watch up his ass. Then he died of dysentery. He gave me the watch. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years. Then, after 7 years, I was sent home to my family. And, well, oh man, I give the watch to you.
Yeah.
That there is Butch waking up to the ringing bell of his boxing match. But before that was Christopher Walken's cameo, where he gets like a good 6 or 7 minutes there of just straight dialogue for Walken, which you can't go wrong unless it's Jiggly, right?
Yeah.
But
good.
yeah, where he reveals, and it's like a real situation, where he reveals that Butch's father kept the watch up his ass for 5 years, and that Major whatever Christopher Walken's character was so taken with the story that he hides the watch up his own ass for 2 more years and passes the watch on to Butch, which makes it like it's one of those situations where you understand why it's so important that Butch keep the watch and that he freaks out about the watch, but it's also made pretty humorous by the fact that 7 years it spent up a couple of dudes' asses to get there.
And the fact that he just walks up to a 7-year-old unprompted and tells him that story.
Your dad's dead. And just
he held on to this. Yeah, he held on to this through extreme circumstances, and now he had to mention that it's been up 2 asses and has been passed out of 2 asses.
Right, and the dysentery. He's like, he had this uncomfortable hunk of metal up his ass for 5 years, and then he died of dysentery and gave the watch to me. It's like he's such a quick dismissal of the way that he died too. Yeah. It's just awesome, but it's not as awesome as our number
1, Daddy.
Clip after the drum roll.
I think it was just I had the bravado.
Wrong button.
That was a drum roll of time.
You know what? Fuck it.
Marcellus.
I just want you to know how sorry we are that things got so fucked up with us and Mr. Wallace. When we got into this thing with the best intentions, really. I never...
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? I didn't mean to do that. Please, continue. You were saying something about best intentions? What's the matter? Oh, you were finished. Oh, well, allow me to retort. What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What?
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
What?
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
Yes.
Then you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like.
What?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
He's black.
Go on.
He's bald.
Does he look like a bitch?
What?
Does he look like a bitch? No! Then why you try to fuck him like a bitch, Brett?
It's amazing. It's amazing. That if you're not hooked to the screen, you don't have a brain. I mean, it's the best dialogue that I can imagine. It's amazing. It's so funny, so quotable. This whole movie is quotable. Yeah. It's really hard to pick. But as you know, I ramp up, so I probably could have had better dialogue clips, but ones that rival 3 and 2, ones that maybe rival number 1. But I don't know. It's the best for me. I love it so much. And who better to deliver it than Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
It's just, oh man, they speak English and what? Let's send it to your ad read of sorts.
Sure. Where is that? There we go. Soundboard's different on these episodes, so it takes me a second. I apologize, everybody.
Hi, kids. It's me, Ronald McDonald, and I'm on the set of my very first motion picture ever. It's a movie called Mac and Me, and it stars my little friend from outer space here. His name is Mac, and I want to introduce you to him. Mac?
Rob's ad read.
So I'm not going to be on my usual bullshit tonight with the hot dogs and the mayonnaise and scabs and stuff like that.
Right.
I am putting out a call to action. We want to do a mailbag episode. We get a lot of engagement on our social media. We don't get really any emails. We want to change that because right now we're picking our own movies, and like we get trapped in our little pockets of like action movies or like bad comedies or what have you. So we pick these movies and they get voted for in a poll, but we do want to do email submissions. Any movie that gets emailed to us by our listeners, we will throw on the short list for movies to review for the show. You can do that at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. And it's a Linktree page. It's got all of our social media, our streaming, our YouTube. And there's also a little envelope you can click on, and that'll take you right to the Gmail, and you can pop off an email. You can make fun of us. You could disagree with us. You could agree with us. You could, offer insight, some behind-the-scenes stuff we may have missed in the show that you would like the audience to hear. Or you could just request a movie, and we'll consider it, and we'll throw it on the show. We've been doing this for 109, 110 episodes now, I think, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So we've been going for a while. So, the bad movie hat, we could reach pretty deep into it, but there may be things we're not considering, or things that are of a genre that we don't typically lean into. So we'd like to hear from you guys at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. And this plug for the mailbag episode is brought to you by Hot Dogs at 3 a.m. Embrace the glizzy.
Embrace the glizzy.
Sink into the meat sweats. And that's all I got.
Stiffen the steel, if you will.
Stiffen the steel. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love that. And if you do send us an email, fucking make fun of us. We've gotten a couple fan emails, ones in which they don't make fun of us, and I'm not cool with that. That's the idea.
And,
you gotta. How do we improve, people? Tell us in the most harsh way possible, if you don't mind.
Yeah, or you can find clips from the show like
I like dongs,
and then send them over to us, and I'll throw them on the soundboard, and I'll use them to sandbag Bob and Chris and myself.
Of course, dongs. I was referring to glizzies. That of course was a 3 a.m. glizzy. Embrace the glizzy comment. Exactly. Had nothing to do with any other phallic objects that you put in your mouth.
Yes,
often. Test number 5: the best production.
Test number 5: the best production.
Did you want to
take it away, Bob?
Did you want to read the email, or do you want me to read it? Like the real email from Bob? Because I got it in front of me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, so Bob sent us an email, and the subject line was Pulp Fiction, and then he sent us a little paragraph here, insight into his life. So I'm just gonna read it out of respect for Bob, who's doing something really awesome for the show right now, potentially, and I can't wait to hear his report on the Greg Sestero Q&A adventure. So the subject was the porn parody of this movie, parentheses, and what I'd usually read for fact or no fact title card, end parentheses. I worked at a video store from 96 to 98, and our porn section was the busiest section of the store. Pulp Fiction didn't get much rental time, but it went down in history as one of my favorite parody names. And he said, read this for best production with the tagline, Achman's Opus Orgasm. So that's what you're going to call the best production for this one.
Okay, got it.
Pulp Fiction is widely regarded as Tarantino's magnum opus, with particular praise for its screenwriting. The self-reflexivity, unconventional structure, and extensive homage and pastiche have led critics to describe it as a touchstone of postmodern film. It is often considered a cultural watershed, influencing films and other media that adopted elements of its style. Pulp Fiction was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. That was a marble mouth. I'm sorry about that, Bob. Culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. So that's the best production, in the words of Bob Hasek, our beloved co-host.
Our beloved co-host, who it just could not get enough Tarantino. You can't staple his eyes open and force him to watch enough Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino was like that soft cheese that you'd see at your grandma's house on Christmas, and Bob was a cracker, it would just be spread from head to toe on Bob.
Yes, and Tarantino would just be rolling raw fish in it and eating it off of his chest, and I'm sure they will both or his feet maybe.
Yes.
They would both very much enjoy that. All right. Well, thank you to our absent but not forgotten friend and co-host Bob Hasek. Let's throw it now to test number 6, the best acting.
Test number 6. The best acting.
I'm going to continue with a theme. Let's go with the names. This one is number 1. Eric Stoltz is Lance.
Okay, well then you bite the fucking bullet and you take her to a hospital and call a lawyer.
Negative.
This is not my fucking problem, man. You fucked her up. You fucking deal with this. Are you talking to me on a cellular phone? I don't know you. Who is this? Don't come here. I'm hanging up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller. Have you lost your fucking mind? You were talking about drug shit on a cellular phone. Look, you're calling to my fucking house. Hey, are you deaf? You are not bringing this fucked up bitch into my house.
This fucked up bitch is Marcellus Wallace's wife. Do you know who Marcellus Wallace is?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, if she croaks on me, I'm a fucking grease spot. Now look, I will be forced to tell him that you did not help and that you let her die in your fucking lawn. Now come on, help me, pick her up.
Got to give it to John Travolta there. Usually when you do the hezzy like stumble move on your lines, it doesn't sound very realistic, but he does a great job with it. He does sound panicked. But Eric Stoltz is the star of that clip for me. He is the drug dealer Lance who realizes that Vince is talking to him on a cell phone, and that means the authorities could be listening in. And he makes mention of drug paraphernalia, which Stoltz, Lance, screams at him on his front lawn. And then more about the fucked up bitch entering his home who's about to die. Funny situation, really not, but they are both fabulous in that particular scene.
You could see very Big Lebowski-esque. I know this predates Lebowski, but I feel like the Coen brothers saw us and were like, we got to do our own unique version of this. Not saying they copied it, but they were clearly inspired by it.
It is very clearly inspired of it. Good point there. I had not ever made that connection, but when you said it, I felt that was ringing true to me. Number 2. Okay, so I was talking shit about this character before, but she doesn't really say anything in this clip. This is Fabian.
Fabian, this is my father's fucking watch. Do you have any idea what he had to go through to get me that watch? I don't have time to go into it, but he went through a lot. Now, all this other shit you could set on fire, but I specifically reminded you not to forget the fucking watch! Now think. Did you get it?
I believe so.
You believe so? What the fuck does that mean? You either did or you didn't get it!
Then I did.
You sure?
No.
Fuck, motherfucker! Motherfucker! You know how fucking stupid you fucking are! No!
Not your fault.
You left it at the apartment. You left it at the apartment. It's not your fault. I had to bring a bunch of stuff. I did you about it, but I didn't illustrate how personal the watch was to me. I gave a fuck about was the watch. I should have told you that.
Do I say the unspoken thing, or should I?
Yeah.
This is why you don't tell your familiar something to do something for you.
Yeah, you just bring the watch with you. Wear it during your boxing match if you can get away with it.
Yeah, put it in your ass.
Under your gloves. Yeah, but hide it in your ass. Your dad did it for 5 years. You could do it for 5 days. Why not?
Yeah.
But that, I think Bruce Willis fucking nails it, man. He's got to. We've all had that unbridled rage where we are livid and can't help ourselves, and we do things we regret, and immediately he does. He regrets it. He tries to calm himself down. he tells Fabian, I don't know that he says he's sorry, but he wants her to think that she's not in danger.
He acknowledged his own fault and not stressing the importance of the watch.
And he does that. But I also love that he says, I don't have time to go into it, but he went through a lot. He doesn't have time to explain to Fabian that his dad and another colonel in the army or whatever had the watch up his ass, which is just a great nod by Tarantino. More good writing.
Yeah.
But also, he says, I reminded you specifically about it, but I didn't stress the importance of it.
Yeah.
Which is just real life writing and really well acted, in my opinion. Okay, let's do one more clip for today, and then we'll throw it into the catch-all and talk about all things good concerning Pulp Fiction, except for a couple of little things I'm going to knock it for, believe it or not.
Right.
This one is number 3. This is Ringo.
When you stop asking permission and start just taking destiny in your own hands, things kind of fall into place. Bravado that I can make this movie anyway. I had bravado.
Ringo, right?
Yes.
You read the Bible, Ringo?
Not regularly, no.
Well, there's this passage I got memorized. Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you. I've been saying that shit for years. And if you heard it, that meant your ass. I never gave much thought to what it meant. I just thought it was some cold-blooded shit to say to a motherfucker before I popped a cap in his ass. I saw some shit this morning made me think twice. See, now I'm thinking, maybe it means you're the evil man and I'm the righteous man. And Mr. 9mm here, he's the shepherd protecting my righteous ass in the valley of darkness. Or it could mean you're the righteous man and I'm the shepherd. And it's the world that's evil and selfish. Now, I'd like that. But that shit ain't the truth. The truth is, you're the weak. And I am the tyranny of evil men. But I'm trying, Ringo. I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd.
Yeah.
There were a couple clips that ran long for us, but did it feel like it? Not really. I mean, it's just incredible. Samuel fucking L. fucking Jackson, right? I mean, whew, you can see why he's one of the most successful actors of all time.
Yeah.
Why he's in every movie, people say. People joke. And there is him not yelling.
Yeah.
But delivering amazing lines from an amazing director. Amazing writing, amazing acting, amazing movie. It just, what sums it up better than that clip right there? I have nothing else to say. Listen to it again if you're not convinced, and just shut your brain up and listen to it. It's amazing. Let's throw it to the catch-all.
Are we doing fact or no fact, or the catch-all first?
Oh shit! I skipped right over that. I would really like to.
Okay, so like I said in my ad read for our own mailbag episode that doesn't exist yet, Bob gave us the fact or no fact. We don't know the answer. We're not going to know until Bob returns. So if you guys would like to in on the fact or no fact gamery here, then email us at www.theworstmovieevermade. And without further ado, here's fact or no fact.
Fact or no fact?
Money now and a lot more when I get in that office. You can take that to the bank.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
Okay, so following the pattern we've been following in recent episodes, there are 5 pieces of information. One of them is a lie. And we need to find out what the lie is. Yep. So number 1. So Forrest Gump won Best Picture the same year, Bob thinks Pulp Fiction was a better movie. Number 2. Though Pulp Fiction won Best Writing Oscar, Bob thinks Heavenly Creatures, co-written by Peter Jackson, was a more deserving movie of the award.
Better not be true.
Number 3. Though Forrest Gump won Best Director, Bob thinks Tarantino should have won this award for Pulp Fiction. Number 4. Though Tom Hanks won Best Actor the same year, Bob thinks Travolta was more deserving of the Oscar for Vincent Vega. And number 5, though Forrest Gump won Best Picture the same year, Bob thinks Shawshank Redemption should have won the award. So, knowing what I know about Bob and his hatred for Forrest Gump, I'm going to say Bob thinks Shawshank should have won the award is true. Though I'm not sure if they're the same year. There may be some Bob foolery.
That could be.
I also think that Forrest Gump, although it won Best Picture the same year, Bob thinks Pulp Fiction was better. I also believe that to be true because Bob doesn't like Forrest Gump and he loves Quentin Tarantino.
He does.
So that brings us down to 3. So Tom Hanks won Best Actor the same year. Forrest Gump, Bob hates. Bob thinks Travolta was more deserving of the Oscar for Vincent. I also believe that to be true. That brings us down to 2. While Pulp Fiction won the Best Writing Oscar, Bob thinks Heavenly Creatures, co-written by Peter Jackson, was more deserving of the award. I'm going to come back to that one because I'm not sure. And then Forrest Gump won Best Director, Bob thinks Tarantino should have won. I think Bob thinks Tarantino should have won because he doesn't like Forrest Gump. The problem is I'm not sure what year Heavenly Creatures came out. And I think that might be some Bob foolery, but I'm not looking it up because, that's the nature of the game.
Fair.
I'm gonna say the lie is though Pulp Fiction won Best Writing Oscar, Bob thinks Heavenly Creatures, co-written by Peter Jackson, was a more deserving movie. I think that's the lie.
I do too. So much so that I'm wondering if I should double down on that because the point is that I don't know that he's actually said it out loud on the podcast, but Tarantino is also his favorite director.
Yes.
So for the first time in the history of the podcast, we'll double down and go.
Okay.
That was number 2, correct?
Number 2 out of 5. Yes, we think number.
Let's
2
take
is
number
lie.
2 together, and we will see. And we'll
take number 2 together.
Nice. Like Vincent Vega just before he was murdered. Yeah, we will shit, and we'll do it together. We're going to say that Heavenly Creatures is not a more deserving movie in Bob's eye. So let's do that.
And then
so
if you guys
would like to, if you would like to join in, please email us where, Rob?
www.theworstmovieevermade.com. You just go there and click the envelope, or you can just email us at worstmovieevermade@gmail.com with no the at the beginning. The email address does not have a the.
That is true. It doesn't, but the website does. Yes.
Yes. So, there we have it. That's fact or no fact. We're doubling down. Double dukes.
We're doubling down.
Double 2. Yeah. So there we go.
We're taking a deuce together.
Nice. I like it.
Let's throw it to the catch-all.
Catch-all. Let's do it. Time to have a little bit of fun with the catch-all. We're going to get our little nets. We're going to prance around like SpongeBob catching the jellyfish. And we're going to catch every darn little thing that we want to. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Pulp,
Right.
A soft, moist, shapeless mass of matter. Or a magazine or book containing lurid subject matter being characteristically painted on rough, unfinished paper.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, when you open a movie like that and you rip off Tarantino, I don't like it. But since Tarantino is doing the original thing here, I actually like the fluidity of the timeline maybe being associated with the pulp. A moist, shapeless mass of matter is the timeline here. And a magazine or book containing lurid subject matter is the movie itself. It is a I understand what he means. I get
Yeah.
what he's delivering. It tells you what to expect.
Yeah.
When expecting. Casual profanity, universal racism. I mean, every character essentially is racist towards another. Kind of in the South Park, like they'll make fun of everyone, and that's why it's okay. Ugly universe realism, if it's not hyper realism, it all is just fantastic, and I love the way he writes. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna knock the movie a little bit. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Tim Roth and Tarantino himself are the weakest actors of the bunch. Tim
That's
Roth
fair.
is, if you don't know, Tim Roth is the diner robber man, Pumpkin.
Yeah.
We see him in the beginning, and we see him in Reservoir Dogs as well, Tim Roth. And I just don't think he's that good. I don't know. I don't really get it. But Tarantino is actually pretty bad, and it almost takes me out for a minute.
Yeah. I feel like a Tarantino cameo, like they're fun, they're amusing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's akin to like a Stephen King cameo in a Stephen King adaptation.
Yeah.
He wants to be in. He wants to be in the thing that he's creating, even though he really belongs behind the camera or as just the auteur.
He just loves movies. It's not surprising that he wants to be in them.
Yeah.
But the part where he's like, "Don't fucking jimmy me, Jules. Don't fucking jimmy me." It's like rough. It's just bad. The Royale with cheese conversation is like so real and funny and just a magnifying glass on the life that these two live together, and I can't get enough of it. I would watch a 10-hour movie with dialogue like that.
Yeah.
And then it transitions to the foot massage conversation, and that's a vehicle to show Wallace's veracity, but he's also Vince is arguing that it's a sensual thing, and Jules is like a foot massage is nothing really. I mean, I think that who do you agree with? I agree with Vince. I think if you are to massage a woman's foot, a man's foot, what have you, I like dongs. It's a sensual thing, you know.
I agree, because that's exactly what makes Jules see his perspective. He's like, well, if I gave you a foot massage right now, you'd be uncomfortable, right? Or like, I'm paraphrasing, but
and then he's like, fuck you.
If it's not sensual, then if you let me give you one, and he's like, no. So therefore, ergo. You know?
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what this reminds me of too? We see it a lot in social media and like, I guess like friend groups that like aren't very like, on a superficial level, people that aren't close friends, but like they're trying to like, you know, interact.
Yeah.
The intense arguments of like, oh, cereal's actually a soup. No, man, no, it really isn't. No, a hot dog's a sandwich. Like the passionate arguments over something stupid. But this is actually well placed and like it maintains a level of like casualness to it that makes it believable. Not like really the heightened, like the fake outrage over like whether or not cereal is a soup.
You know? And it's original. Not surprising that Tarantino is talking about foot massage, but it is original.
Yep.
Number combo on the briefcase. Do you remember what it is?
666, Sign of the Beast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice little detail. What's in the briefcase? Is it is it the Korn's first album, Masters? Is that what we think it is?
So Pulp Fiction came out on October. I might be getting these reversed. It came out like October 14th, 1995, and Korn's first album came out October 11th, 94. Sorry, but they came out within a few days of each other. So that's why I made that joke to you guys on text earlier. Because I was like, wouldn't it be funny? They're just transporting the Korn album.
and then Pumpkin later is like, is that what I think it is? And Samuel Jackson was like, yeah. I love the little detail with the Band-Aid on the back of Marcellus Wallace's neck.
So, speaking to what's in the briefcase.
Yes.
First of all, do you know what that's called? When there's like something that you're
not I
revealed?
don't.
It's called a MacGuffin.
It is a MacGuffin. You're right. You're right.
So,
yep.
I think Albert Hitchcock made it popular, and then Tarantino leaned into it with a lot of his films. But the one theory that makes the most sense, and it's been a while since I read it, is that in the briefcase is Marcellus Wallace's soul, and that would explain the Band-Aid on the back of his head. They're returning his soul back to him.
Interesting.
But it gets weird with the timeline because like him forgiving Butch for all that shit, like he's got his soul back. He's
Oh, I see.
You know?
Okay.
But I think
All right.
I don't know. I think
It's very interesting.
I'm confused. I gotta revisit, double check the timeline, but I feel like he gets this, like, he's forgiving because he has been reacquainted with the soul.
How
or
about
something
that?
like that. Yeah.
Kind of like that. The throwing the fight story is a common trope. I feel like Quentin
Yeah.
Tarantino does it better than anyone else, though.
Yeah.
That's some gangster shit, like throwing a fight and then getting paid for it. But of course, Butch
Yeah.
does the double cross and knows that the odds are going to be stacked
Yeah.
against him because people are going to know that the fix is in.
Yeah.
And then so he bets on himself and kills the guy in the
Yeah.
process. No context at first for the dorky clothes. I mentioned this before on Jules and
Yeah.
Vince. So we have to work backwards like Memento. I didn't mention that before, but I'm not sure which
Yeah.
came first. I'm pretty sure it was this.
Memento was like 99 or 2000.
Yeah.
But that does make sense though, because they drop the briefcase off. Vince sees Butch, knowing like he mutters something. He's like, so he's gonna cross him later. That was the passing. So that does bolster the soul theory.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
What did we used to call that old segment? Crackpot.
Half-ass conspiracy theories, crackpot conspiracy theories, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's it's 3/4 assed, I think.
Yeah.
Everyday heroin deal.
Yeah.
They're just in the dude's room, just like talking about the different heroin and how good it is and what the price is, and it's just like they seem like old time friends, and like
I got a place to be, so I can't hang out. But hey, can I shoot up in your bathroom real quick?
Yeah, exactly. The Travolta confused gif happens for us in this movie.
Yeah.
The one that's overused at this point.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Here's where you can find it in the middle of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
She does coke, and then at the house before she comes
Mm-hmm.
down to meet Vince, and then she does it again at Jack Rabbit Slim's.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, so if you do a lot of coke, I think you can continue to do coke throughout the night without ODing.
Yeah.
But it's heroin that's in John Travolta's coat.
Yeah.
Is that something that would happen upon first snorting of heroin and she thought it was coke?
I mean, if you have zero, because you build a tolerance up, it's hard to. I was listening to that last podcast episode about Kurt Cobain's, like, how there's no way he could have killed himself. Like, there's no way to really accurately measure someone's tolerance to heroin. But if she does not do heroin and she just snorts a giant rail of it thinking it's cocaine, she's going to start foaming at the mouth. I believe that.
See, it's again ambiguity that I appreciate because I don't need the answer, but it could have been that she would have OD'd even if it was coke because of how much she had. But I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I don't do hard shit like that. I never have. So I don't know that you can snort heroin like that at all. I think
you can.
You can.
I'm actually reading a book right now. The lead singer from Thursday, he went down to Mexico to do like this very intense hallucinogenic therapy to like kick his heroin habit, and he was a snorter. He wasn't. He didn't shoot.
Oh, okay.
But speaking of heroin, do you have anything about how John Travolta prepared for the role in your catch-all notes?
I don't.
So
did he do 600 hours of heroin just in case?
No. So he asked like people he knew that have done heroin in the past, like, and I might be getting this a little wrong, but he asked them like what it feels like, and I don't want to try it, but like how can I emulate this behavior on screen to prepare for the role? And they're like sit in a hot tub and drink a shitload of tequila. And I guess the night before, like the confused Travolta scene.
Yeah.
He just sat in a hot tub with like a line of shot glasses full of tequila and just like plowed through them.
Christ.
And like I guess like the whole like just like being so tired you don't care, but being really happy kind of.
Yeah.
He used that energy he got from that hot tub study
in the car.
In the movie.
And yeah. There's the famous scene where he's just driving down the road and like you really only get a half a minute of it, but it's just him like enjoying his life and for that split second, it does look like fun to do drugs, but then Tarantino absolutely ruins it for you. And I'm glad he did. So she does. So Tarantino zooms in on Uma's feet.
Yeah.
Just had to mention it. I would really love a Jackrabbit Slims here in Milford. Say it was at like the Milford Mall or something. I think I'd really enjoy.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, for sure. I was wondering about whether you would like that or not. I can't ask Bob because he's not here. He bailed on us for some reason.
You know, $5 milkshake though is actually a really good price in 2023.
Yeah, ain't it though? For real.
Yeah.
The twist competition dance scene shows their natural chemistry, which builds, and then I said that I think it was really fun to watch. I'm not really like a dance movie guy, but I was intrigued.
Yeah, Travolta's a weird dancer, man.
Yeah, he's a good one. I mean, I think people know that he can move. Yeah.
Yeah,
but he does. Yeah, he does some weird shit. Like I don't know if they're classic twist moves. I assume they are.
It just reminds me of Conan O'Brien before a commercial break. He's always just doing like the, you know.
Yeah, sure. Only I think that Travolta can maybe move to the rhythm a little better than Conan O'Brien.
Yeah,
It's gigantic.
absolutely.
Head can. Does she mistake? Okay, I asked that already. Lance is watching black and white TV, which is a standard movie thing. And I've mentioned this before on the pod, and I was mad about it. And I was like, what the fuck? But then Fabian is watching TV in color. And I was like, wow, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was cool. I didn't think the Fox Force 5 joke was as bad as Mrs. Wallace said it was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you gotta see it from her perspective. That was her one shot and it didn't work out. So she's like, there's a amount of shame. Like you went and did the thing and it didn't turn out how you expected it to. So there's also that self-loathing that comes with not getting picked up for a series. Therefore, the joke in her mind is not good.
And it isn't good. I mean, it's like
corny.
A mom, a dad, and a kid tomato are walking along the street, and the kid lags, so the father goes back and squishes him and says ketchup.
Yeah.
Which isn't funny, but I mean, it's not bad.
No, it's like your typical A-team type of humor, and that's what they're going for, so it works.
Yeah, exactly. Was that an overreach by Butch when he flips out? I kind of wanted to about the watch.
Or the watch? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But like, it almost seems like you can maybe read into it that he's like nearly abusive there. Like that's pretty traumatic.
No, because he took the money to throw the fight, and then he didn't throw the fight, so he gets double dipped on the money, right?
Yeah.
So there's a bounty out on his head for betraying Wallace, and he's under the assumption that he cannot go back to his apartment to get the watch that she forgot.
No.
So like, there's a lot. Like,
but he has to.
Basically, that watch means more to him and he's willing to risk his life for it, and he wouldn't have to risk his life if she just fucking picked it up. So I can see that's not like unprovoked rage. It's coming from misdirected rage, yes, but it's not. I don't think it's his typical demeanor either.
Yeah. Okay, I agree that I don't think it's his typical demeanor. I think it just made to some look like a warning sign for Fabian. But in her defense, he did not explain the importance, and for all we know, she doesn't even know that he threw the fight on purpose. It doesn't
Also
really seem like she's totally in on all that.
So. If he didn't tell her the importance of the watch, there's also more he's not telling her. So that that makes sense.
That's true. I liked Vincent Vega. I liked the character. It was sad to me personally when he died. Each time I'm like, man, don't shoot him, and he shoots him, and I'm like, that sucks. Next, I said, ew, Kathy Griffin.
I fucking hate her.
Gross.
I fucking hate her.
Same. Right after that, Marcellus shoots a woman because his aim is off because he just got hit by a car. Just like shoots some chick in the hip when he's trying to hit Butch, which is awesome.
The best part they just gloss over. They never revisit that.
No, they don't. She's just like, I'm shot.
He's just like dragging his leg behind him.
Yeah. Punches don't have extra sound effects in this movie, which I fucking love. Right after that, Butch is punching Marcellus in the face, and you just hear like, doop, doop, doop. You don't hear like, pow, crunch, like whatever the fuck, like what every action movie does. And I get why, but I prefer it not. Very uncomfortable, but perfect music for the very crazy, very awful rape scene. That was like, why the hell is it in this movie? But I'm not mad that it is.
Yeah.
The music is like, I don't know. What is that instrument, Rob? That it's like Is that like trumpet? I don't even know what the fuck that.
I'm having trouble recalling it on air right now, but the way you said it, it's like a muted trumpet. Like you
Yeah,
put
it's like you have the
inside
like
the trumpet. Yeah,
ball. Yeah. It's a fucking crazy song, and it makes the whole thing just makes you feel like really gross and weird for a minute. But the Gimp. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Speaking of uncomfortable.
Oh.
All right, that's not all I'm going to say. They had him in a locked cage that is surrounded by a lock box made of wood under like a bunch of like chains and shit.
And he seems okay with it.
Out. Yeah, he's good with it. He's like just covered in leather and stuff. It just seems like not my kind of life. But I guess if that's your kink, Gimp, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not judging you. I'm just judging the other guys for raping and killing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Butch goes back and chooses a katana. Would you go with the katana or a chainsaw or even a baseball bat?
I would go with the katana or the baseball bat, not the chainsaw, because what if you sneak up and you pull the ripcord and it doesn't work, and then they all turn around and it's not fucking doing the chainsaw thing.
Right, and then Zed has his gun ready.
Yeah.
So maybe the katana was the right choice. A bat, like right to the back of the head. The bad guy.
knock
If
him
I were
out.
Butch, I wouldn't have taken any time. Like he kind of sneaks up on him. I think I would have just rushed him and beat him in the head with a baseball bat, and then run to Zed and done the same. You know, as
That's
fast
such a
as I
great
could.
shot. It's such a great shot, though.
It is, man. What awesome angles! Even when the guy is jerking it, you know, with Butch in the back, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool shot. Okay, got to do it. The dead N-word storage scene is really, really rough to watch. It's Tarantino using the N-word, and I apologize personally for even covering content like that. But it is an amazing movie, and the 90s were a different time, and Tarantino is not Jimmy the character.
It was
blah, blah, blah.
it was never okay to say it even then, but like
No.
the whole point of Pulp Fiction is to be a subversive film, and 30 years later we're still talking about it because
it was difficult. It was he forced us to deal with some rough stuff.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel as the Wolf is just amazing.
Yeah, no,
I want more Wolf in my life. I wish right now I would take a 92-year-old Keitel driving around as the Wolf solving problems. That would be a great movie. He also says lots of cream, lots of sugar when Jimmy asks him how he takes his coffee. Nah, for me it's just black. How about you, Rob?
Black coffee.
Yeah, black coffee is the way to go. If you can acquire the taste for black coffee, do yourself a favor. It's better for you, and then you find this whole world, a wonderful world of the soily, earthy tones of black coffee that are so satisfying to people like Rob and I. Do yourself a favor and
keeps
get
it
used
going.
to it.
Yeah,
yeah, and it works better. Then you don't have to worry about the sugar crash and all that.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
How pissed Jules is at Vince is awesome.
Yeah.
When he Vince blows up, as you heard, as the viewer and the watcher on YouTube saw, Vince questions the Wolf, and Jules is just pissed about it. But later in the car, he can't take it anymore, and he just blows up at Vince, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
The brains in Jules' hair, really funny. Gross, but funny. Amazing direction. It's just bravado. You know, it's just bravado.
I think it was just I had the bravado.
All right, let's throw it to bad credit names unless you want to mention anything else you have in your catch-all.
No, but everybody should watch the Simpsons episode 22 short films about Springfield because it's 22. The episode's 22 minutes long. It is 22 shorts in a non-linear fashion, and they have a whole Pulp Fiction parody. Where they're eating at Krusty Burger, and he's like, "Do they have their partially gelatinated, like non-dairy substances?" And he's like, "Yeah, they call them shakes." it's really good.
That is good.
All right, so just watch The Simpsons. That's a great episode. That's a Steam Hammed episode as well with the Aurora Borealis and Principal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So bad credit names. Let's do it.
You're the biggest liar of them all. I am warning you. You tell me another, and I'll rescue myself. That is a promise, Miss
Rose, sister Rose.
Of course. Another plant. Rose.
Bad credit names.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got Burr Steers.
Ew. Okay.
Steve Buscemi as Buddy Holly.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Like uncredited. Was he not famous at this point? I guess not. Somebody named Zane.
Ew.
Larry Scherf.
Okay.
Larry. Oh wait, no, I think that's an A. Larry Sharf. That's why I wrote it down.
Oh, okay.
Sharf. It just sounds like something you do, like that wets your pants in one way or another. George Sack.
Okay. Unfortunate. I like it.
2 more. McPherson O'Downs.
Ew. Okay.
And Liz Chiz.
Liz Chiz likes to sniz. I like it.
Okay, that is what we have for bad credit names. We will not be comparing the movies because we don't have one to compare it to. This is our good movie week, a palate cleanser. I'm sorry, no offensive mini game. No big deal. Whatever. Anyway, we're going to announce what we're going to do next week. And Rob, I don't know if you can see what this says. Probably not because it's like tough on computers.
Everything's in what do we? It's a fair game and
Moonfall.
Okay, I can't.
Are tied at 40%. What do we do about this?
We watched My Giant with Billy Crystal.
Fuck that.
Coin toss, guitar pick toss.
Yeah.
Here. All right, so I got a guitar pick. They have turtles on them, so it's turtles or not turtles.
We'll go turtles for Moonfall because that's mine and Bob's not here. Bob bailed on us.
Turtles. All right, so we're gonna flip the pick. I'm gonna catch it.
Turtle. So we're watching Moonfall.
Yep.
Don't be discouraged. I want to say guys, but just Rob and Bob when you listen to this, tomorrow when you get home or whatever. Moonfall is apparently an awful movie, and I've heard it from many people. So it is a more modern movie, so I actually appreciate that. We haven't done a whole lot of like recent releases, so it's good to keep up with those as well. Yeah, I mean, what happens when the moon falls to Earth? Let me tell you, that doesn't happen because the Earth has a certain mass, and unless you like hollow out the Earth overnight, it's not going to happen. So, just a ridiculous, stupid premise. Of course, I don't know anything about the movie or the junk science that I'm going to fucking hate. But I assume it's really, really bad, given that everyone I've ever talked to about it says it is. Yeah. And Rob, why don't you plug us, and then we'll send it over to Chris for his last word.
Yeah. www.theworstmovieevermade.com. That's where you'll be going this week if you want to participate in our fact or no fact competition that Bob has given us the pieces of information, but no answer to in his absence. That's for us to figure out by next week. So if you want to weigh in on the choices, just shoot us an email. You could also stream us on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts. You could find us on TikTok. You could find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. All that stuff can be found at www.theworstmovieevermade.com.
And while you're at it, throw a movie in there. While you're making fun of us, throw a bad movie you'd want to do, because we'll do it. Eventually we'll put it on our short list if we get some emails. If you're the only one, which you won't be, because I expect a nice turnout from this, we'll definitely do your movie. How's that?
Yeah.
Bob, I think his last word obviously would be bravado.
Let me. I thought it was gonna be saddle, but 1 second.
When you stop asking permission and start just taking destiny in your own hands, things kind of fall into place. Bravado that I could make this movie anyway. I had bravado.
Okay, well, thanks so much for listening. We love you, and we'll see you next week for Moonfall, our first bad movie of season 19.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm gonna play out the theme song just because the clips we had were a bit long today. So we'll
sounds good.
Old school, all right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. See you guys next week. We got Bob.
Bob with Greg. Bob with Greg.
Yeah.
Bob and Greg.